my name's Leona from Supra Conscioussoul, and this is your Divine Feminine reading for September and the first week thereof, or just after. Energy is fluid. So we come into the reading with the Seven of Wands the Seven of Wands upright, sorry. This is the Divine Feminine feeling like she needs to defend something, feeling like she needs to stay on higher ground, feeling like she could feel like she's being attacked from all sides right now. She could feel like she's having to defend her energy because she's feeling drained. She's feeling like people are just coming at her. So she may be feeling like she needs to protect herself in some way, defend herself, yeah, protect what it is that she stands for or who she is in some way, yeah. This is all about these six wands trying to get involved, trying to put their energy into the mix, yeah. This is her trying to clear some space or clear some ground for herself or protect her personal space, let's say. So we also have, coming into the reading, we have the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles talks about putting the work in now so that we can get the rewards later. It talks about building something together. It talks about stability. It talks about starting to get a foundation after things were a little bit rocky. But there's a need to work together, or there's a need to unite with this energy. Now, the funny thing is, we have the Page of Cups underneath that, and the Knight of Swords. So they're the energy that we're coming into the reading with, yeah? Now, these are two very different energies. The Page of Cups is coming from an emotional place. They're coming from a place of love with their offer here. They're coming from a place where they may be feeling a little bit emotionally unstable. They may feel like they want to make this offer but not sure how to do it. Now we have another energy, the Knight of Swords. This is somebody who knows what they stand for. They're fiercely devoted to their ideas, but they don't stay around very long. This is somebody who can be quite cold when it comes to emotions. They can cut off emotions. They can be a bit challenging. Yeah, they can want a little bit of conflict here, or they don't care if their words can cause conflict. So we have the Page of Cups, where we have this inner child part of ourselves that wants to be expressive, that wants to be open-hearted, that wants to be emotional, that wants to let somebody in. But then we have this place where words are cold, words are brutal, words are harsh, yeah. Words are truthful, but yet unfeeling. So there is this, the Divine Feminine's coming into this, trying to find a way how she can mix these two parts of herself, how she can blend these two parts in order to make something that is going to be more stable moving forward. It can also be that right now the Divine Masculine or her counterpart is reflecting back one of these two energies at her as well. But I feel like the Knight of Swords is an energy, it's fire of air, so it's very passionate but very unfeeling at the same time. It can clear the ground with that fire, and the air kind of blows through and helps it to clear away quickly. Whereas the Page of Cups, much more emotional. So it could be that there is some signs to do with this Knight of Cups, yeah. It could be that we see some signs, we see some of these things, because we do have pay attention to the red flags here. It says the signs are cautioning you. Now the Knight of Wands is somebody who needs to be the Knight of Swords, sorry, is somebody who needs to be cautious, because they can be hasty, they can be impatient. They have to remember that they have a double-edged sword. Now we have this other energy, that's this page that's very emotional. Now we have pay attention to the red flags, and we also have calling in your soulmate. it says your prayers and affirmations and visualizations help bring you together. So we then have the past life influence of wars and battles. Now, this is very much what I'm seeing here as well. Now, let me explain. So wars and battles can talk about somebody having been through so much conflict in their life that they run away from conflict, that they don't want to face conflict, that they have this problem expressing themselves emotionally or openly. Yeah, they don't want to rock the boat in some way. They don't want to disturb the sea here. They want to keep them emotions contained. So we then have the Knight of Swords in reference to this card, and it can say that this is somebody that speaks their truth at all costs. This is somebody that may not think before they speak. Yeah, they could destroy things. So we have these two opposing energies, or this kind of inner child versus an external truth, let's say. So we then move on to the Ten of Swords. Now, the Ten of Swords is all about feeling like we've been betrayed, feeling like we've been backstabbed. Let's also remember that we did have the Three of Pentacles there, so it can talk about a third-party interference and possibly being torn about talking about it too, because we have this inner child wanting to express. But the inner child, it's like, how is your inner child feeling in this? And that could be the work or the healing that somebody's doing on themselves right now. But the Ten of Swords promises a new day. It promises that things can't get any worse. It's also a breaking point or a turning point, yeah, which I feel is really good because it's got this above it. It's the Ace of Swords. So there's a breaking point, a turning point, a victory. It gets to the point where somebody can't take it anymore and they maybe have to express themselves, or this part of themselves comes out with the Knight of Swords. The Ace of Swords is about victory. It's about after a long struggle, after long battles, it's about drawing a line in the sand. It's about having an awakening, an epiphany, clarity suddenly coming. Yeah, and it's after this 10. So it's like a new beginning now, a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at something. We have distracting us the devil, which talks about temptation, lust, desire. It can talk about control. It can talk about domination. It can talk about the shadow sides of ourselves, looking at our shadow sides, possibly looking at what we may be hiding from ourselves, what's causing us to get to this mental anxiety of this 10 here. What is the breakthrough? Because the devil talks about being controlled by something, being bonded to something. But then next to that, helping us, we have the Six of Swords, which talks about moving away from this trouble, moving away. It can be talking about going through a process of healing, or even looking at our own healing in terms of past life stuff with this wars and battles. It could be inner child work, it could be shadow work we're looking at, but we're moving past that now. We're trying to move away from rocky water mentally. We're trying to get ourselves to a place where we're not feeling controlled or dominated or stuck. It can be moving away from an abusive relationships for a lot of the divine feminines, especially with this 10 of Swords and then this Ace of Swords being clarity. It can be cutting off anything that takes us to that lower base sides of ourselves as well. We also have change your beliefs. I don't know if you can see that properly. It says change your beliefs, find your soul. So that very much goes with the devil and Six of Swords here. We move away from things as we change even the smallest of our beliefs. It can move us away to where we're supposed to be, towards our destiny, because I feel like we are moving towards that. We have father, husband, brother, son, Osiris. It can talk about somebody or a male figure coming into your life that is very good for you, somebody coming in that can help you Or it can talk about, with the inner child stuff, it can talk about working through issues with our father as well. There could be healing towards that, and that in turn helps other relationships and other things in our lives. But it talks about a male that comes into our life that is going to be very important for us. We did have calling in the soulmate as well. We also had Sacred Phoenix Heart, number 21 from the Rumi Oracle. Now this talks about having to go through darkness. It talks about sometimes we fear going through this, but this is the very thing that catapults us into our Phoenix stage, that we suddenly realize that we have to go through a death, to go through a rebirth, to go through this awakening, to go through this new life. Yeah. I also just got as well that it could be about, right now we're being challenged as divine feminines to look at how we communicate within relationships, because divine love is all about communication. It's all about being able to have that communication without one partner being cold, without one partner having an open heart and the other partner not having an open heart. Or it's like there's some kind of thing that is off balance in terms of how we communicate our emotions or how we communicate. And there possibly has been triggers that we've found over this last month. We also got 23 Divine Disguise from the Divine Circuits Oracle. Now this talks about sometimes things coming into our lives and we don't realize that there's a blessing within it. There's things coming into our lives. There could be a male figure coming into our lives and we don't realize their value straight away, or we don't realize their worth straight away. It could be that they're coming in to bring lessons with the calling in your soulmate card. However, I feel like we're going through a turning point. Yeah, we've got the Hanged Man. We was feeling stuck for a while, but I feel like now we've kind of spun that. We're taking some time in isolation as well to kind of go on a spiritual journey within. Yeah, this is looking at where we're going, how we're going forward now. Yeah, in some senses, the Hermit is about pulling energy back to see who comes to find us in our most deserted places. Or it can be about suddenly realizing all the sacrifices that we've been making, or suddenly even just like putting down the ego for a bit in order to stop and see where it is that we're going. Or it could be that we're taking some time to look within ourselves and to then come out. Once we come out of that phase, we can then make decisions. But these decisions, we're realizing they're very important decisions. These decisions are going to have implications not only for the past, but 7 generations into the future. And we have to look at where we're putting this energy now. What are we allowing to hold us back? What are we turning our back on at this moment in order to make better plans for the future in terms of our spiritual goals, yeah, in terms of where we want to go spiritually? Because I feel like we're moving away from this past energy. We're healing this energy of abuse, neglect, the sins. We're looking at our addictions. We're looking at our communication and how we communicate ourselves to the divine masculine. Yeah, divine communication is where it's at. It's about finding a relationship where you can express yourself at such an open level that the space becomes sacred. So I really do hope this has helped. Take care. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.